Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. So fantastic with Tiwa Apanti, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to draft a deep plunging neckline top with an illusion yoke. So this has been a big trend over the years, and it was huge last year and like 2 years ago, and personally I feel like these are elements that are never going to go out of style, and garments are always going to feature it. So, and even this year I see more garments featuring these elements to them, and they may be recreated in different ways, but I feel like okay, this trend is going nowhere. So, and that is why I have made this video, and I also have some other videos on yokes and illusion necklines coming up, so please do watch out for them. Please subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment, ask all the questions you have. Thank you so much for your time, and let's get right into the tutorial. The neckline features a deep plunge down to the waist, and then the other side has an illusion yoke, and then a bustier part that blends into the armhole. So what you need to draft this pattern is to first trace your body's block on fold so that you have a full front bodice. Then you do your underbust tightening and your shoulder tightening if necessary. Okay, so but if you're using a pattern that doesn't have a shoulder tightening, a shoulder dart, then you don't have to do any tightening around the shoulder, or if your neckline is not going to be crossing your shoulder dart at all, then you don't have to do any shoulder tightening. Okay, so on my pattern I'm going to label that part on, the part with the shoulder joining, and then the other part is going to be my off part, and that's the part going off completely and also blending into the armhole, the part that has the yoke. I work on the two sides separately, and then for the on side I'm going to, you can do an armhole princess dart, any type of dart you want, a panel dart or a shoulder princess dart, any dart you want at all you can do on this part. So I'll just first go ahead and do my underbust tightening. Okay, so and to do this I'm going to mark from my shoulder to underbust first, and then I'll roll across and trace that line so that I know that I'm working on the same line on the offside, that is the other side. After which I will do my underbust tightening, and I want to believe that we all know how to do our underbust tightening by now. If you don't, then you can check out some of my previous videos, like the one about princess darts. You can check out that video. I explained in detail how to do underbust tightening. So my shoulder to underbust is 34, and I already know what to mark for my tight underbust tightening, so I'm just going to mark that here. After marking my tightening, I'm going to now connect from my waist to the underbust tightening mark. Okay, so for the off side, so I closed my shoulder dart here, and then I slashed from my center waist dart line all the way to my bust point so that I can close the shoulder dart, which I have done. I did it on camera, but somehow I lost the clip. I don't know what happened. I lost the clip on how I did all of that, but you can refer to my princess dart video to see how to draft your armhole princess dart. So now for the offside, I'm going to do tightening here on this. I'm going to do shoulder tightening, 100% shoulder tightening here, because this part is going off completely, so it needs to be firm so that there's no gaping, and it can just curve around your bust perfectly, like nicely. So that's why I'm going to do 100% shoulder tightening here, but I didn't do any tightening here because on the on side, because my neckline is not going to cross my shoulder dart at all, so that's why I left the on side just the way it is, the on-side shoulder dart, just the way it is. Also, I have marked my underbust tightening, which is very important. So start with your underbust tightening, and then for the shoulder tightening, I am doing 100% shoulder tightening for this part. My shoulder dart is 7 cm, so 100% of 7 cm is 7. That is 700 over 100 times 7. That's 7. So now that means that if I add this to my original dart, that makes it 14. So okay, so what I'll do now is to share that 7 on the legs on both dart legs, and that's what I've marked here, and then connect back to point D, which is my bust point. I'm going to connect from my tightening to my bust, to my underbust tightening, and then I also connect on one side. I also connect to my underbust tightening on the other side. Okay, so now I'll need to close this shoulder dart that I just created, and I'm going to just slash from the waistline all the way to point D, and then close the dart, using the tightening lines. Okay, so next I'm going to mark your neck depth, and this is how low you want the neckline to be, and this will determine how exposed, how much cleavage you want to show. And I'm using 5 cm here, but between 5 to 7 cm is okay, it's just good. So then curve from, or just blend into your armhole. So you can cover up the armhole part a little bit more, since there's no sleeves. You can just cover that part more by adding paper under, so that the sides is more covered up. Or if you're going to be attaching a sleeve, or you just want the side boob to show, then you can leave it this way. Or if you feel that just the way the armhole is will give you enough coverage or firmness, then it's all good. If you noticed in the picture that was displayed earlier, the illusion went all the way to the waistline. You can take it to your underbust, you can stop at the bust, you can stop at the waistline, you can even go beyond the waistline if you want, but that's up to you, and then the shape you want is up to you. But since in the picture it goes all the way to the underbust, to the waist, so I'll just take it to the waistline. The depth will go all the way to the waistline. Okay, now so to shape the illusion part, to shape the shoulder part, I'll measure like half of the shoulder width left on my pattern, because I had already done some tightening, so that has reduced my shoulder width a little bit. So I'm going to measure half of what is left. But before I measure that, you can see that my paper, the pattern is not, it's not level, there's some irregularity here. So I'm just going to add paper under, and then reshape the shoulder slant and the shoulder width and everything. So I'll just fill that up and redraw my shoulder slant. Okay, so now I'll measure what I have on my shoulder, how wide my shoulder is, or the shoulder slant is. So I have about 2, and so I'll mark half of that, which is 1. And depending on how open you want the illusion part to be, so you just work your way around to curve from that mark all through the bust line to the under bust, and then all the way to the waist, or wherever you want the opening to stop. I don't know if you can use your curved ruler, or you can use freehand. For me, I'm just using my hand. And at the waist line, I'm marking about 0.25. So this is how much I want how exposed I want the pattern to be at the waistline. You can narrow it down You can widen it. It depends on you. It depends on how much skin you're willing to show. You know, you can mark 0.5, but I'm marking 0.25 here. So, but in the picture it was way wider. The opening is wider, and you can just, what I'm just saying is you can tweak this to your preference. You know, as long, once you know what to do, it's easy for you to do whatever you want. There are no rules. Okay, so now I feel like, looking at the shoulder width now on the offside, I feel like it's too small. It's way smaller than I'm talking about the width now. It's way smaller than what I have on the on side. And remember that I did 100%. I didn't do any tightening on the on side, but I did 100% tightening on the off side. So I don't want it to be this tiny. You know, I don't want it to look really small compared to the on side. So what I'm going to do is to add some more paper, measure what I have, the shoulder width I have on the on side, and then just extend my shoulder line on this off side to that number or to that figure. So I have 3.5 on the on side, so I'm just going to, you know, tape the paper and extend. Also, you can choose not to do any tightening for this type of style on the offside. All you have to do is find somewhere on your pattern to transfer the shoulder dart. You know, you can transfer it to the waist, but it's going to make the waist dart really big. So, and I don't want to have to deal with all of that. That is why I just did tightening there. That's why I just did shoulder tightening instead, because I know that I can extend the shoulder width however I want later. So that's it basically. So you can transfer the dart, you know, or do it this way that I have done it. Redraw the armhole, like after extending, blend back into the armhole, and you'll be good. Your pattern will still, when you cut on fabric, is going to still sit down very well on you. Now that I have more shoulder width, I'm just going to now reshape the line I took earlier, what I shaped earlier, because now I have more room to mark, because I have about 3.5 shoulder width. So I'm just going to mark 2, you know, and then I'll reblend all the way to the chest line, down to the underbust, and then to the waist. I hope you understand what I am saying. Anyways, just look at what I'm doing, you know, in the video so that you get it, in case my explanation is confusing you, but I hope it's not. After doing that, it's time to cut out my pattern pieces. Okay, so I'll cut the off side first. Okay, so I'm just going to cut my pattern and then label accordingly. On the off side, I will cut out the mesh parts first, and then now remove the tape, you know, on the bustier part, so that I can just easily cut that out. This is what it looks like. Both of the on side, you know, both sides should be used to cut. You should cut that on your main fabric, and then the mesh, you can decide to use a mesh, net, or whatever you want to use. You can decide to use another fabric to cut that part. That is how to cut this type of illusion neckline. In the next video, I'm also going to be showing you how to cut another type of illusion neckline. Thank you so much for watching from the beginning and for staying till the end. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and of course, stay awesome, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.